Thank you. So, the World Health Organization recommends middle-aged adults to accumulate at least 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity or at least 75 minutes of vigorous intensity physical activity per week. But what does that actually mean? Is it really helpful? So, I'm going to skip these slides because I sent the updated slide through last night, but it didn't get updated. So I'm just going to skip through to the important parts. So what happened was that we looked at the SF12 survey that was used in the Raine study that measures your general health and well-being. And then we also looked at physical activity data from the wrist accelerometer, as you've seen from the earlier presentation. And we plotted those against the most active minutes throughout the day. So I'm going to use my body to demonstrate this graph because I know it's quite hard to see from the back. So on the top, we've got the most active third of the day, the most active 8 hours. And on this side, we've got the most active 120 minutes, and then most active 60 minutes. On the south side, we've got the most active 30 minutes, most active 15, most active 5, and most active 2 minutes of the day. When we plotted those against the intensity of the movement, we found that people who rated their health as excellent actually move a lot more intensely compared to the rest of the groups. And we were like, oh, how about we plot it, the intensity of walking to see where about these things are. And surprise, surprise, it intersects with the solid blue line, which represents the excellent health people, at the mark of the most active 30 minutes. So this means that people who rated their health as excellent also were doing movement at the intensity of walking at the most active minutes, 30 minutes of the day, which corresponds to the World Health Organization's recommendation. As you can see by the orange, that's the people who reported as having very poor health. Only the most active 2 minutes of the day reach the intensity of walking. So the message is the more intensely you're moving, the better health there is. So what does it mean? So as I said earlier, the higher the intensity of physical activity, the more likely that you'll have better health in general. And also, perhaps less time is needed if those physical activities are done at a more intense sort of intensity. And I would like to thank the Gen 1 participants and my supervisory panel, as well as Curtin University. Thank you.
Were there any questions from the floor? Fiona.
So good, all these different studies. How do you get over the fact that sick people might not be able to walk?
Good question. That's a really good question. So I guess in this particular study, we didn't account for that. People who couldn't walk, I'm not sure whether that was looked at in the Raine study. I only looked at the accelerometry data on the wrist, and I can't recall anyone in the study, or I didn't look at it, who couldn't walk.
Any other questions for our speaker? Brilliant. Please join me in thanking